What a good dinner tonight, and tonight it'll be number 6, game number 6 of 14 of the qualifiers. As right now we are showing, sorry about that, had a good dinner. LSU is back up top, their number 1 seed. Georgia is back to number 2. They're going to have to play Michigan State soon. Oklahoma State and Southern Cal, you see they tied. Missouri is 5-0. South Florida and Penn State, there you see there. Group 5, Virginia and Ohio State. Group 6, West Virginia and Arizona. Group 7, Wisconsin leads. Colorado and Kansas are behind. Group 8, Oregon and Oklahoma. Arkansas is 4-1. Group 9, Nebraska, Virginia Tech, Texas Tech. And that's going to be Group 9. Group 10, Clemson and South Carolina. NC State, Boston College, and Florida State still in there. Texas A&M and Washington have to win. Group 11, Illinois and Texas and Vanderbilt are good there. Group 12, Washington State, Tennessee, and Georgia Tech. Group 13, Michigan and Florida. Group 14, Louisville and Cincinnati are up there. In 15, Arizona State. Troy, an upset team. They play Alabama today, who's 3-2. Let's take a look at the games today. And now we're going to play Game 6. LSU at Fresno State. That's a big one. Ohio State and Rutgers. That'll be big there. As we take a look, a lot of different things. Oklahoma and Syracuse. That'll be a tough game. Tennessee, Washington State, a big one. Illinois and Vanderbilt. How good is Vandy? Georgia Tech, 5-0. Michigan, 5-0. When you're taking a look at big games, I think San Diego State might be a trap game. Iowa State could stall Georgia a little bit. Michigan State and Stanford, a big game there. Penn State up. They're playing Western Michigan. They could get upset there. They got to be careful. Indiana and UCLA, who knows in that one? Indiana needs a win. BC and Texas A&M, a big game there. And we go through Florida State, South Carolina. That is big there. Let's go. This is week number 6, and let's go now. So LSU beats Fresno State. That's a big game. Ohio by 3. Ohio State by 10, a big game. Virginia by 13-0. They win. Southern Miss wins. Maryland wins there. West Virginia takes care of Temple. Oregon State wins. Southern Cal beats SMU. Good game there. Mississippi beats Miami of Florida. Kansas all over Florida International. South Florida beats California. Oklahoma takes care of Syracuse. North Carolina wins. Virginia Tech, a big win. We're taking a look. Clemson, a 1-point win over Tulane. NC State beats Washington. Illinois beat Vanderbilt at Washington State by 2. Georgia Tech beats Hawaii. You take a look. Akron beat Notre Dame. Michigan wins. Utah beat Tulsa. BYU with a win. Cincinnati, a big win. And Navy beat Rice beat Navy. Louisville, a big win. Auburn beat Louisiana Monroe. Arizona State to win. Alabama just blows out Troy. Purdue beat Kansas State. Iowa State, we told you about that game earlier. Wake Forest with the win. Stanford beat Michigan State. Pitt is winless. Missouri, a good win against Utah. Penn State, they come out with a win against Western Michigan. Oregon over Arkansas, big game there. Texas Tech beats Nebraska. Nebraska and Indiana wins. We told you about that game. Texas, a solid win. Florida in a trap game beats Memphis. Iowa State with the win. Marshall looking good. Arizona beat Bowling Green. Kentucky beat New Mexico. Oklahoma State, 70 points against New Mexico. Wisconsin to win. Air Force is at 500. Colorado, a big win there. South Carolina beat Florida State 17-5. No ties this week. Colorado State is good there. I'll be right back in a second, and you can take a look at some of the box scores. I'll be back in a second. All right, I'm back. Whenever I have chicken around here, sometimes I have to use the restroom a lot. Very sorry about this. And I know about 3 minutes there. So now we're going to take a look at the standings. Well, first of all, the games. There we go. And we're going to take a look at the games in Group 6. First of all, then the standings. So here's Group 6. Big LSU beating Fresno State. It was a good game until the very end. It was a 1-point game. They missed the extra point, and 2 touchdowns there made it 38-30. Remember, that's a 2-score lead. Then the kick return, that was it. It was a good game. Fresno State would like to do it again and was tied at 17. They're a good team. They might have to get in through third place. Rutgers and Ohio State, a great game. Going into the fourth quarter was 20-10. Then Ohio State scored. Rutgers scored again, 27-17. Your final. Virginia 6-0. Look at all the punts. Great defense. And Robbie Gould, 2 field goals. Pierman the run. And that's it. 13-0 there. West Virginia so good. Again, 396 yards, 224 rushing. And it beat Temple 41-10. Very easy there. Well, Miami is having trouble. Block punt return for a touchdown with 1:52 to go. And Miami's woes are still Miami's woes. Yeah, how about that? And this thing is 23-16 there. North Carolina beat Central Florida. Again, Virginia Tech, very good. Illinois, they beat Vanderbilt. It was 14-10 at the half. They beat them on yards, and Vanderbilt missed a field goal. I mean, that is 16-play, 64-yarder. They're not there at Illinois, but who knows? NC State kicked a field goal late. Washington, the turnover on downs. And that was it. Game's over there. Clemson beat Tulane by 1. Clemson scored early in the fourth. And then a punt, missed field goal. Then Tulane missed a field goal, and then the game was over. So you could see that was a back-and-forth game. Well, it was mainly Tulane chasing. No, Tulane was ahead, and they could have pulled the upset, and they didn't. Oh, they could have, and that was bad. That was bad. So Tulane had a shot, couldn't do it. Couldn't pull the upset. Other ones, Michigan is now 6-0. Georgia Tech beat Hawaii. A crushing blow for Hawaii, and you'll see why. Brennan threw 60 times. But Georgia Tech, Bobby Dodd Stadium, Georgia Tech is 6-0. Cincinnati a win, Rice a win. Alabama destroyed Troy 44-17. Troy barely did a thing. So that makes you wonder about that upset. Auburn barely beat Louisiana Monroe. Northwestern goes 4-2. Purdue beat Kansas State. Now Purdue just swamped Kansas State in a win there. So, you know, Josh Painter, 2 touchdowns. Looked very, very good. Wake Forest beat TCU by 10, but look at Iowa State. Iowa State, wow, they beat Georgia. So, fourth quarter, Iowa State, they rushed the field. Remember, Georgia is number 2. I couldn't believe that. Iowa State, that's huge here. Penn State beat Western Michigan. Look at that, a crazy sort of thing happening. Lots of touchdowns. How about turnovers? 4 for Penn State, 1 for Western Michigan. The fumble recovery, I mean, it was back and forth, back and forth. 58-43 your final. Indiana upset UCLA 44-30 in a game they dominated yard-wise. And Indiana got a safety at the end. Big there. Iowa won. Florida by, barely. Tough day at Memphis. Tough day, and Memphis scored late. But then Florida turnover on downs at Memphis on their own 6-yard line. Turnover on downs, and that was the game. That was big. Arizona barely beat Bowling Green. We look over Oklahoma State at 17-5 in this one. A field goal late. It was 7-2. Then 7-5 at the half on a field goal. South Carolina a touchdown, 14-5. And 17-5 your final. Yeah, it was low scoring and tough. All right, now let's take a look at all of the standings and where everybody is. And then we will call it a night. Very easy as you take a look, and then we'll see where we go next. So they hit standings. And here it is. So as we have to scroll down, there it is. LSU is now 5-1. Kansas State, Fresno State, Purdue, and Northwestern. 4 teams for 2 slots. Remember that. Northwestern's won 4 in a row. Group 2, Stanford, Wake Forest, Michigan State. All 4 1-1. Stanford winning 4 in a row. Remember, they tied. Stanford tied Michigan State. Georgia is 3-2-1, and Maryland is 4-2. Group 3, Kentucky is 6-0, but Southern Cal, Oklahoma State, 2 ties. They're way ahead. Those 3, you're going to have those 3 are Group 3. They're separating. Group 4, Missouri is 1. South Florida and Penn State are 2 and 3. They're separating. Group 5, you have Virginia and Ohio State, and everybody else, Rutgers, Southern Miss, Mississippi State, going for 3rd place. Group 6, West Virginia is good. Houston, Arizona, then Oregon State and Temple. Temple's lost 2 in a row. Group 7, Wisconsin, then Colorado and Kansas. Air Force will need help. Group 8, Oregon and Oklahoma running away. Arkansas and Syracuse will seem to be fighting it out for that one. Group 9 for 3rd, Texas Tech and Virginia Tech. 1 and 2, Nebraska lost to Texas Tech. So Texas Tech gets the win there, and you never know. Indiana beat UCLA. We're going to have to see that. Group 10, your most competitive, Clemson and South Carolina the win. NC State is 3rd. Texas A&M is 4th behind Boston College and Florida State, both with losses. Washington is now 2-4, and they could be done. Group 11, Illinois and Texas are up there. Vanderbilt's going to have to fight everybody else for 3rd. They lost Illinois. Wasn't as bad as it looked, 35-10, but still. Group 12, Washington State with a win over Tennessee. A big, big win. We'll take a look at that. Georgia Tech is also 6-0. Group 13, Florida and Michigan are up there. Iowa is 3rd. They look like they could hold out for at least 3rd. Group 14, Louisville and Cincinnati. BYU, those 3 are way ahead of everybody else. Group 15, Arizona State is 1. Auburn and Alabama with a huge win. They're ahead of everybody else. Taking a look right now at Washington State. We didn't take a look at that game. And we're going to take a look at Washington State. Didn't take a look at that game, but we will. And here it is. So Washington State will beat there it is. They beat Tennessee by 2. And when you look at that touchdown there, they were down by 5. Remember, you could only go. Then Tennessee threw, it was a turnover on downs, and Washington State punted. It went in the end zone, 5 plays, 20 yards. They had a pick, and then Washington State ended the game. It was back and forth. Washington State on the right at Martin Stadium in Washington State. 14-13 in the second, a big scoring second quarter. And Tennessee went ahead 23-21. That was the last time they went ahead on a fumble recovery. Then Brink to Gibson. And then you see it's chasing, but no, Tennessee, Ainge to Taylor. They went up by 2. And then they went up by 5 with 13 minutes to go. And Washington State, 4 plays, 24 yards. Had to be a great kick return. Something must have happened. There you see the stats. Well, let's see. Colquitt punted deep, the return. Yeah, and it was the return. So then Ivory, Tardy, then Brink to Dillon, a 12-yard touchdown. Look at that, and that's the way they won it. That is the way they won it. We saw NC State and Washington. NC State kicking a field goal at the end. But Washington State with the win. So they're going to be formidable in the World Cup. And when we do all the seedings and everything, what about Georgia? Georgia's second seed and in trouble. Let's take a look in week number 7. So, yeah, Fresno State again against Louisiana State. Everything is reversed. Everything is reversed, so Georgia has to get a win against Iowa State. They have to. If they go 3-3-1, there's trouble there. Michigan State and Stanford. This is the second of the 2 reversal weeks, which happens in scheduling. Clemson is now at home. Texas A&M beat BC. Florida State is now down to South Carolina. They got to win. There's a lot of must-be wins. Purdue and Kansas State, the winner there is going to be ahead. Troy and Alabama. Troy gets another shot. They got killed. Texas Tech now is at home to Nebraska. They're heavy favorites in that game. Illinois is at home to Vandy. Washington State and Tennessee. That's big for Tennessee, trying to even that one out. Arizona State with the win. Indiana, UCLA's got to get a win. They got to get a win. They want to go 4-3. Oregon, they're 6-0. Now they're at home against Arkansas. Georgia Tech will have to go to Hawaii, and South Florida to California. All right, that's going to be it today. Have a great day, and we'll see you for the Creators Cup game number 6 next.